Yeah, so basically I've spent the last 7 years with my organisation documenting the various sort of suburban undefinable architectures of Melbourne. And obviously mapping is a very important aspect of that. We've come up with terminologies that are very important. As you can see here, the key terminology or the key sort of modern is the Melborgian robot Moderne. Obviously you can see our staff members use latest technology to kind of analyse these architectures, and the robot Moderne is an interesting kind of mostly multi-unit density with many elements of chunkiness and rendered elements, and primarily sort of influenced by hard drive and family computer, home computers from sort of roughly the 90s. Back again here to some of the robot Moderne. Obviously, dentistry and intergalactic overlords play a key role in how these buildings get designed, and really thinking about an architecture of the future that is being built now, that presumably when it gets to the future, it will already be relevant. Again, proportion is a word that people use sometimes. And other times you can combine proportion with non-proportion, which is key. Again, dentistry comes into play. The next style I want to talk about is French Provincial neo-modernism. Again, we have lots of staff members who are focused quite intently on analysing this work. It's influenced by things that are French. As you'll see in the next slide, roller disco, butler pantries are starting to become more prevalent within the buildings. Quite crucial. Again, disco references are very important because that's sort of an aesthetic that combines well with the culture of France. This is almost a futuristic version of the neo-faux French Provincial. The spreaded legs entry stairway, key to having, if you two people who live in the house don't like each other. Beige cardboard cheesecakes, strong influence as well. Again, there's Italianate references to the testicular statue you see on the right hand side, sort of with a backdrop of quite a mute Melborgian mansion, but I think that's in contrast to what you see in front, which is crucial. Again, some disco references. Canapes are a very important part of my work and how I assess architecture, and any social gathering is always benefited by the use of a canapé. And I feel it's something that I focus quite strongly on helping me understand the architecture of the suburbs, particularly crustless sandwiches. Back to the Melborgian Futuristico, the building on the left is probably the result of a fight between a couple of robots. But again, the terminology you see the building on the right hand side. Oh, sorry, we've skipped that one. Tracksuits, incredibly important to my assessment and the influences that I have. Any type of tracksuits, particularly with sharp edges, the color patterning, the trims, very important. Again, my staff members, I can't love them more than enough. This is sort of Melborgian Futuristico. Obviously, in the early 70s, we didn't really talk about Y-fronts and suspenders, but they sort of found their way into the architecture of the time. Hamburgers and Slurpees, big influences on the new unique architectures of Melbourne. Hamburger patties that have been carved with large circular staircases, really add something different. Cream cake is an interesting subset of the Melborgian Moderne. These are the three primary sort of subsets of the cream cake. Obviously the stacked solid beige cream cake, the concrete cream cake, sort of more of a brutalist approach, and again back to the activewear tracksuit approach. Now, several years ago, I was proud to be involved in a major design amendment change here in Victoria for new build housing that enabled adult giraffes to be housed within the porticos. As you can see, the one on the left, but this has been a sort of approach that has been around for quite some time, even before my company formalised the code. So you can see here some fine examples of giraffe compliant porticos. The one on the right obviously could probably fit several within it. Somewhat of overkill, but again, conscientious. Again, there's a meld with the giraffe compliant porticos between some of the more modern housing. It's really started to take off, and designers are really starting to consider it, particularly the designers at the Melbourne Zoo, which was not a great example. Again, the use of stairs in front of the giraffe compliant portico is a bit of a mistake, considering the giraffe being unable to access the portico. But the intent is there, and as you can see, the grandness of the portico is fantastic. Thank you.
Oh my God, that's amazing! Amazing.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a pretty serious business that I'm involved in, so I just try and you know, keep it as serious as possible.